Y'all, good morning. Okay, I've got I Dream in Color page. It is a freebie from Jennifer Stay, and you can get it over on Coloring Pages Bliss.com. Okay, it's something that she had popped up on her page. And generally, when I start coloring, I'm going to do the things first that I want specific color. So I'm going to do her first. And let's see, what color skin do we want for her today? Let's see, she's got the curly hair. So if we make her, let's see. Nope. See, and this is another reason I make these rings for every set of colored pencils that I have. I'm liking that beige, and then I've got to get a shade darker for her tanned areas and for shadows. See if there's any other beiges in here. I always check through in the pinks, in the white area, in the tans, in the yellows, because you just never know where there may be another beige that would work. Okay, I am going to pull, is that my lightest pink while I'm here? I believe Pink Rose. Unless there's one in here in the hot pinks. See, just always check around. And I hate to waste your time doing this, but I've had a lot of ladies and some over on Coloring Books Keep It Clean on Facebook that are, can you show us how you pick colors? So yeah, that's what I'm doing, is I'm showing you. All right, so, and here's the ones from last time. All right, Pink Rose is 1018. Is that you? Yep. So that's going to be her cheeks. I'm hoping this doesn't make her too yellow. That's why I keep looking, because I thought that there was a better beige than that, a light beige, but evidently there is not. There is a cream. I'm afraid that would make her more yellow than I want. I'm going to make her lightly suntanned. So I am going to go with that beige, which I believe is over here with my browns. Okay, so $9.97. If you're writing them down, now's your time. Okay, the pink I grabbed was $10.18. These are my Prismacolors, and I am in the midst of making a conversion chart that'll be available over on my Etsy. So, and it will convert or tell you substitutes for a lot of these. All right, I am going to skip this one and go to this one. You can skip one. I don't recommend you skip two. I could go to that one because it's in the same color family, but I feel better about just going over here, Peach Beige. Okay, and that is number 1085, which is right here. Okay, so let's get started on her face first. And in fact, I am going to pull one more. Let's see, Peach Beige. And then I grabbed another. I'm going to look, I think that 1080. And that may be pulled from another project. I have got to go through here and get my pencils all back in order. They're driving me crazy. Probably driving you crazy too, huh? Okay, it's not in there. Let's go back over here. 1080 Beige Sienna. So even though I've got this, if these are not in order, then it doesn't do me a whole lot of good. Okay, so the first thing I am going to start with is my lightest shade, which is the beige. Oh, that's right. Write down my colors. So 997. And you may not be able to see that, but I can. 1085. And so I'm good with that. And then 1080. And then her little cheeks are going to be 1018. Yeah, 18. Okay, so I'm going to hold light to dark because these all look close to the same. Okay, I'm going to start with my lightest, and I'll start in here, little circles. And really, when you're doing a face, it is a little bit easier if your pencils are not to a point, because it's going to help you to not leave really definite marks. It's going to be easier to blend if it's a little flat on the side instead of coming in at a point, if that makes sense. And I generally start with my lighter colors first. If you want to put the shading in first, that's perfectly fine too. The darkest darks are going to be up in here under her hairline, and then get lighter really quick with your touch. You know, you can start out a little bit dark, but then you need to get light really quick. Let's see, there would be some in here. This is a darker area because her hair is shadowing. This ear is going to be a little bit darker. It's barely peeking through. Be a little bit darker up in here. And I know that you can barely see the shading on that. That's just how light of a touch I'm doing. So let's see if we can zoom you in just a little bit here. Now that I've done some. Still keeping you in the camera. Okay, so now you've seen how I'm doing that light touch, and now you're even closer, so that when I go to the next color and go even lighter, you can see that too. Keep it kind of soft. You really don't want to go too deep and dark on this too fast. Now, if you're doing a dark-skinned little girl, this would be my skin color, and then from here I would go darker. Okay, and one of these days I'm going to find a cute little picture of a little girl with some curly hair, and we're going to do a little darker skin. In fact, we may just take someday and hit all the different races, because I know that's something that we just need to touch on at some point. All right, there we go. We're a salad anyway, as we say in church. Soup is like a melting pot. Everything blends together. But in a salad, everything's together, yet it stays its own. And I feel like that's really important in life, because there's so much that we really can learn from each other. So I like that. All right, just going that next shade lighter. Coming in a little lighter. And I actually could put some of that dark right up in there. So let's do that real quick. That's why I generally do my darks last, so that I can add them over the top. And if I come down through here, I don't want to do it with the dark though. I want to do it with my medium, because if I go dark on that, then it's going to be too dark and blend in with the ear. And what I want to do is just enough of the medium to make her face look like it's curved around, not enough to make it look like it's way back in the shadows. Does that make sense? Remember when we did the ornaments, we wanted them to look rounded? Well, this lighter shade, which is our medium, will give that roundness without making it all look dark. Because I don't want her to look just flat like she really is a coloring page. I would like this to look a little bit rounded. So I'm just coming in and I'm getting lighter as I come towards the middle. Okay, there's going to be a little bit darker right around the star. And again, this is my medium color. Okay. Just getting these mediums in. And then when I go to my light, I can do light just everywhere, even over the top of this to blend. I don't use a colorless blender so much. Now, there would be a little bit of shading down under her eyelashes. Does that make sense? Her eyes are shut, the lashes are down, so it's going to be just a little bit darker under those lashes. Okay, there's going to be a little shadow under her nose. Now don't do too much. You don't want her to look like she's got a mustache. That's why I'm coming down some. I'm lightening it up as I move down. Okay, I also want there to be a little bit of shadow under her lip. If you think about that little dimple part on our chin, that's what I'm trying to get here. I know they didn't draw it on, but I want to just go ahead and put that in. And it'll just make her, it'll make this recede a little and this pop out, which is what I want. Okay. Now I think that's a good bit of shading. Let's go ahead and go with our lightest and let's start getting the rest of this done in so that we can really see if we need more shading anywhere. And a lot of this just depends on how realistic you want to be. Did you know even when your eye is shut, there's that little crease right here? Okay, so I could even put that in. Just think of the shape of the eye, and you're just doing a little bit of shading above and below that shape. Okay, so there we go. Now let's go back to our original color, and now let's do all this, all the things. And you'll see me go right over that because it's going to help blend it in. And I do shake the table quite a bit, yes. It's actually not the camera moving, it's my table. See, you can't really see that, probably not from where you are. I can see just a little bit of lineage, not much. Just enough that it lets me know there is some more to her eye there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and blend all this. See, I didn't want those darks in your face. Even this is a little dark right now, but once I go over it, watch how it's going to lighten up. Can you see the before? See how that is? Okay, now let's do some. Then I'll show it to you again. What it does, because it's a little darker, is it recedes that ear back, recesses it, so that it is back behind part of her hair and her face. Okay. See how it pushed it back? Because it's a little bit darker. So I'm good with that. We're going to keep going. I have been using my Prismacolors quite a bit here lately. I'm probably going to change over and start doing some pictures with my Marco Renoirs. The Prismas are a wax base. It helps them to blend. My Marco Renoirs are an oil base, kind of like the Faber-Castell Polychromos. And personally, I like the oil base better because I don't get that shiny buildup that I do get with these wax. So just a personal choice. There are people that swear by their polychromos. There are people that swear by their Marcos. There are people that swear by the Prismacolors. It's really just personal choice of what you like. And you can actually make anything work for you. I've sat down and colored with Crayola pencils, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I find it easier to blend when there's a wax or oil mixed in, and being the moderator and of a group over on Facebook, Coloring Books Keep It Clean, I felt the need to go ahead and get some different pencils so that I would be able to do reviews and know more about what I was talking about when I would recommend certain things. I hate to just recommend something not having tried it. Okay, I can't in good conscience do that. So if you're a illustrator or a person that has made a product and you're wanting me to support that, you're going to need to send it to me because I've got to try it first. Now, once I'm behind something, I'm all gung-ho. I will put in my full support, but I've got to try it first. You know, I wasn't real keen on grayscale pictures until I got my first book. And when Nicole Stalker sent me that first book and I tried it, then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's just, it makes pictures easier to color because a lot of that shading is already done for you. So it's really good in helping to teach where shadows go because they are in the pictures already. Trying to keep my hand out of the way. It's a big deal to a lot of you that you actually see what the pencil is doing. And I'm doing my circles. I've started trying to make my circles a little more circular instead of oval so that you can really see what I'm doing. Now, I've gone over it once, and sometimes I've even gone back over spots 2 or 3 times. Can you see all the white still poking through? Okay. That just shows me that I really need to put another layer on here. And I've always told you 2 or 3 really good light layers, 4 or 5, however many it takes to cover that white up, is so much better than breaking your lead, being heavy-handed, trying to get it all done in 1 or 2. You need those extra layers. You just do. The first time you put it on, it's just barely coating the top of the paper. The second time, it's starting to go a little bit down into the little valleys of the paper, and so forth. Each time it pushes it a little further down, and it's going to look just so much better. Now, sometimes you go over and like these little dots are now covered with this color. That's an easy fix. Come back with your black and just go over it. Or even come in with a black marker and just go over it. And that was another reason I came in and put some of those darks in. Because as I'm blending, those darks have just blended in and you really cannot even see where they are. Okay, now do you see the difference in what I've done? I've done the area down in here. I have not done the second coat up in here. So just keep going. And if you don't want to watch me just color, skip ahead a little bit because there are some that do want to watch it, and so I'm not putting the video on fast forward at all. When I upload, I'm doing it at actual speed. I've just had enough people ask me to keep it at actual speed that that's what I'm going to do. If you want her lashes a little fuller, come in with a marker and add some more. You know, you can change her up however you want to. Once the page is in your possession, you kind of become the artist on it. Any changes you want. You want to add a big bow on her hair, you do that. You know, it's whatever you want. Now I am going to come back with my darker. I'm going to come back with the 1080, the darkest one, and I'm going to put some of these darks back in because I've lost some of my shading. Okay. And because I've got a couple layers of my lightest color on, it's harder for the pencil to actually grab onto the paper. So I don't have to worry as much about getting it too dark. But I do want to make sure it still blends out nicely. So if you get some spots where it's not blended and your little circles are showing, come back with your lightest color and do some more blending. I'm going to make her neck a little darker right through there, and that'll push it even further back. Then I'm going to come in with that next lightest color, the 1085, and I'm going to do some more blending between what I just did and the lightest color, just to help it fade out some. Because her hair would leave a little bit of a shadow on her face. She's got nice full curls. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways so y'all be safe there. Don't fall out of your chair turning with me. But I want to do this again right around in here, just to help that face look a little more rounded. Not quite so flat. And see, you can't really tell that I'm doing too much to this. And again, it's because we've already put so many coats on. Okay, now I'm going to come back with my lightest. There we go. Put you back upright. Don't need anybody falling off the sofa. And this is where if you use a colorless blender, you come in now with your colorless blender and do some blending. I could sit here and put another coat or two on, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move on to her hands. Okay, I'm going to take the middle shade, and I just want her hands to look a little more rounded. Okay, and they might be a little darker down here at the bottoms. I'm not using the dark. I'm thinking this time with our hands that we can get away with just this medium dark. Okay, I'm just going across the bottoms here and on the sides. A little bit lighter as I come in. And do turn your work so that you can do the angles that you need to do. I am going to put a little bit on top just because I think it's going to make her hands look more rounded. I don't know, we'll see. Anytime you need to pause, you just pause the video. It's one reason we're doing videos, so that you can pause and color along. Okay, let's do this one. So now coming back in with my lightest shade, I'm back to the 997. And see that dark's blending in really well because it wasn't that dark. It was the medium dark. And so it's really working quite nicely. Yeah, I'm going right over the top of it. And again, I could put 2 or 3 coats in here to really get some good solid coverage. Okay. Bothers me that it's not solidly covered, I'll be honest with you. So now, besides her skin, as you look at the picture, do you see anything else that is like a mandatory color? Now the skin didn't, we talked about that, it didn't have to be this color. But, I mean, as opposed to making her purple or green, okay, or some other color, we knew it was going to be some sort of a beige to dark brown. So that's why I did that first. Okay. All right. And again, more coats. Don't stop there. Keep putting on more layers. Oh, I totally forgot about her cheeks. So when I do cheeks, I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out, because if I get it too dark, that middle section is going to be the darkest anyway. Does that make sense? And I may have to go with a darker pink, but usually when I'm doing a child's face, no, that's going on good. When I'm doing a child's face, I like to do the lighter pinks. I just think it looks better. Getting lighter as I come out, and then I am going to take it, do I want to take it up in the side? No, I think just giving her a little rosy cheek right there is just about right. And it's probably on this face, oh, maybe the size of a dime. Okay. Try to get them even. If they're not, don't stress over it. Okay. I think this one needs to come in a little. Especially on this face, because that star is there, it's going to make things look balanced a little differently anyway. So in a way, that's helpful. If you end up with a line right here, come back with your lightest shade and go over it. Okay, it's just going to soften it, and you can come in with the lightest shade to do that softening. All right, now everything else from here on is up for grabs on color. Okay, so I'm going to pause. Actually, I'm going to stop and upload this, and then we'll move on.